Congressman, you emphasized that your spontaneous protest of Trump's joint address was about the massive cuts he and Republicans are proposing to Medicaid as they slash through the government. Despite that, you were escorted out of the chamber and censored. The president has called you low IQ and an embarrassment. And the far-right House Freedom Caucus is trying to get you stripped of your committee assignments. I want to remind our viewers that you led the charge in Congress to impeach President Trump during his first term. Do you think that has factored in all of this?
Thank you for having me, Reverend. Of course I do. I think that the president, who is known for his desire to retaliate, is engaging in what he's known for. And I do believe that we have a responsibility, however, to protect Medicaid. Medicaid is all many people will have when it comes to health care. In Texas, we have about 20% of our population without health care, more than any other state in the country. Our children have an uninsured rate that is twice that of the national rate. So we have to protect Medicaid. And that was what that was all about, protecting Medicaid. And I am prepared to suffer the consequences. Protest, peaceful protest, is about getting in the way, as John Lewis put it, and also being prepared to suffer the consequences. But Reverend, that doesn't mean that I have to like the consequences.
Yeah, you know, I heard you say that immediately after the censoring, and I identified with it. You talked about that's how many of us in the civil rights movement behaved. I've been arrested over 30 times, have done 3 months in jail, 45 days in jail, all for nonviolent protests, and you accept it. And you said you're not angry with Speaker Mike Johnson or members who voted for your censure, which included every House Republican and 10 Democrats, some of whom have complained that the protests during the president's address were uncivil, a mistake, and a distraction. But as I recall, you may have 2 House members with the last name Green who've protested during recent presidential addresses. Only the black one is being censored for it. Are Democrats being too civil during this time when American rights and freedoms are literally on the line?
Reverend, that's a great question. The president recognizes that we are being civil, and he uses his incivility to take advantage of our civility. I was dismayed, disappointed, and quite frankly, I was hurt to see the president of the United States indicate that the Democrats were lunatics, that we are lunatics. He did that on national TV at the joint session of Congress. He will not be censored. He will not be reprimanded. He will not be in any way placed in any kind of punishment. I think that we are finding ourselves in a position where we have to meet incivility with incivility. Now, Reverend, he does it to harm and demean, just as he has given me this nickname that he thinks is going to somehow besmirch my name or my reputation. We do it to uplift people. He does it to put people down and demean people. That's the difference. If you're doing it to uplift, to help people on Medicaid, to help people on Medicare, Social Security, save the Department of Education, protect veterans who are being fired, those who are at the VA and working, if you're doing it for these reasons, that's a righteous cause. And I think that we'll have to have additional incivility, which is another form of peaceful protest.
Now, the Democratic response to your protests and censor showed just how divided the party is over not just how to counter Trump, but how to craft also a compelling message to American voters ahead of our next elections. Some Democrats have taken a combative stand with Trump, or they're using the courts to block his action. Other leaders are trying to find places they can compromise with the administration, or focusing on pragmatic message that contrasts with Trump's chaos. Which response is right for this moment, in your view, Congressman?
Reverend, allow me to just use this metaphor. When I leave here, I'm in Houston, to go to Washington, D.C., I'll take a plane. There are some persons who may go by train if they choose. Others may go by car. The vehicle is not really the question that we have to cope with as much as it is the destination. We're all moving toward the same destination. Some will choose a different vehicle. I think that we have to, at this point, have a combination. We have to have the litigation. We have to have legislation proposed, even if it doesn't pass. And then we have to have some agitation. I think that all three will give us the opportunity to metamorphose into a message that will make a difference. And I think that this will give us the opportunity to reclaim the House. I really believe it. And when we do, then we will have the opportunity to set the agenda.
And when you say we will set the agenda, I note that your tie says we the people. Now,
Yes,
let me
sir.
go to this issue. Nearly 200